I have the solution open here inside this code. The way I'm going to restore these packages, let me show you something before I jump in. Alright, notice that the controller is not resolving. Any guesses why this is not resolving? Because I have .NET 4.8 installed on this computer as well.
I think the system.web.mvc, I think we have to resolve that properly initially.
How? You're right, but how? Because I already have .NET, right? So if system.web is resolving, why not MVC?
The NuGet package is missing.
Alright, exactly. So MVC is not part of the default .NET installation. It is available to us through NuGet packages, and the place to look at is the packages.config file. So if you come here, notice that MVC is an extension, is a package that we have to include inside our application. So all I have to do is come here and restore NuGet packages. Now it takes a short while. Hopefully it is cached on my system, and then it takes a little while before these things resolve. And when they don't resolve, I generally come and build the project, and then building definitely helps. Alright, so it is saying build succeeded, and notice how the MVC has resolved and controller has turned green. Okay, so I have this thing working. What it requires is a database. Now databases are generally stored as a connection string inside the web.config. When we downloaded this code, I am pretty sure that it is the same thing that you guys are also going to see, that the data source is localDB. The initial catalog for some reason is Contoso University 2. I don't know why would they put a 2 here like this. But what I really need is a connection string to my computer. So I'm going to go to View, select the Server Explorer, and let me add a connection to a master table. I'm very soon going to change this. I generally don't remember the syntax of the connection string, and I generally don't mess with these things as well. I generally rely on the Visual Studio properties. So I copy this. As I come here, let me make some room. Is this font visible, guys? Should I change anything about it?
Visible.
Alright, so let's call it Contoso University DB, and this is pointing to the local database source. Alright, I am pretty sure that as soon as I hit IIS Express, it is going to go and create the database. I had this database here. Notice that I don't have anything in the database. I just deleted it before we started the session. There is nothing inside this thing. I think if I run this IIS Express, this application, it is going to provision that database. But I don't want to take those chances. What is the other way that I can create this database? It is through the command line that comes part of the package manager, and then Entity Framework has multiple commands that you can use.
Update database.
Update database. Yeah, it's not coming to me. Thank you. I generally use it with the verbose keyword and hit enter. Alright, and hopefully we are going to see multiple create and update statements that are going to provision the database. Alright, so there are multiple create and update statements. Also notice that it is saying running seed method. Alright, seed method has some default data as a part of this application, which has mostly populated the database. So let's go ahead, refresh. Alright, let me disconnect and try again. Alright, so there you go. We have our database and our table created. Alright, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to upgrade the .NET version from 4.5 to 4.8, just like that. I'm going to save all, and let's take a look at the NuGet packages as well. So manage NuGet packages. Just 1 second, guys. All right. All right. So I see that there are around 13 packages that require some form of update. The Bootstrap is currently at version 3. We're going to bump it up to version 4.4. So I'm going to select all these and just hit the update button. This is going to upgrade all these packages. Hopefully it is not going to take a lot of time because I had already cached this result. All right, with CS to all. Alright, so it looks like this is done. The last time I ran it, it showed popper.js for some reason the second time inside this list. Not that it is a very big deal, but I'm just waiting for this thing to finish. I don't know why it does that, but let's go ahead and update this as well. Alright, question to you guys. I was pretty blunt about the packages that I want to update. What is an ideal way, a practical way of selecting packages? How do you guys do it?
So I think first thing we need to understand, currently we saw that Bootstrap is at version 3 and now it is moving to 4. I think we have to analyze what has been changed in the latest version and if there is going to be a major deviation and major functionality change due to this. And then analyzing those things, we can go ahead with the updates.
Who should decide that? Who decides that?
It's out. I think as a developer, I think we should decide it ourselves.
Okay. I don't think I would give my developers that privilege.
So the architect or designer, the system designer should take the decision.
Okay.
And use multiple parameters like whether does it provide the required functionality, extensibility, then what is the history, how old or stable it is. So history is another thing. Stability, activity level, how active the team is, and performance, number of known issues.
Okay. So how many? Okay, how does a company decide that they want to be a .NET shop or a Microsoft shop? How does that decision happen?
I think that comes from either let's say the project requirement. At times the customer will say this is in .NET, or the other times if the team is already comfortable with .NET, then they'll most probably continue being .NET.
All right. I think this is a culture thing. All right, and then it starts at the top. So the CEO, CTO, probably they are friends with somebody at the top in Microsoft, and then because they are friends, they end up becoming a Microsoft company, or probably they went to the same school, and then that school was teaching them .NET, right? And that's how the developers, the CTO of that company, he was always a Microsoft guy. Some other CTO, some other company might be a Java shop, a Linux shop, right? That decision happens at the top, and then it trickles down all the way to the bottom of the company, that because a CTO could only interview probably say tech leads, all right, the tech leads are also Java guys, are also .NET guys. I think a better way of selecting a framework like this, or deciding what framework you want to use inside your application, is that out of say 20 architects that you have in your company, you create a new committee, and that committee regularly connects and decides that something is changing in the .NET world, something is changing in the UI world, and then collectively they decide that hey, probably we should explore more on the Angular side, probably we should switch to .NET Core, right? And then that decision is trickled down across around developers and probably to the training team as well. So as a part of running the organization, I would say that that decision should be made by a committee of architects. The advantage of doing it that way is that your organization is going to have some technical consistency. So when your developers jump from one project to another, they are not going to be taken by surprise. So just a little thought there. I know multiple people are going to have different thoughts about it, but then this is what I think about this thing.